I said I would make it, so here it is. So I think, and this is my personal opinion, that RVs are probably one of the least quality controlled items ever. I mean, it is pathetic on how bad the quality control on an RV is, especially when you pay as much as you pay. I mean, so for example, this isn't how much we paid, but the MSRP on this RV was like $130,000. So we're looking at a pretty expensive piece of equipment. And I mean, in every single room, every single space on this RV, I could point out defects everywhere. I mean, I can just look right here. The blinds aren't mounted straight. The valances or whatever that's called up there. I mean, the doors don't line up. I mean, they didn't even brad nail things in straight. There's, defects on the ceiling. Some of the little light switches don't go. I mean, it's just everywhere. Every single place in an RV, you can point out a million things wrong with the RV when it comes to how much you're paying for that. I don't know if it's because the industry's not regulated very well. I'm not really sure exactly what it is, but here's the thing. You get 1 year typically with an RV that is like bumper to bumper. And even then, they really don't cover a lot of things. Like you'll bring some stuff to them, and if you don't show them that literally the day you're buying it and get it fixed and whatever they call like make ready or punch out, whatever they want to call it, if you don't get it fixed that day, there's a good chance you're stuck fixing it yourself. So like some of these switches, like this one luckily sits flush. It doesn't sit straight, but it sits flush. But some of these little switches, and I could probably find you one. Let me see. Look here. So like this switch here does not sit flush against the plastic. Well, it's as simple as you take this whole housing here off and you're going to find they just flat out didn't cut the hole properly. So you're going to come in here and you're going to nicely trim out the hole, and these switches are going to go in no problem. But the guy that was running around putting these in, I don't know if he's got a quota or what it is, but he's not drilling this stuff straight. They're slapping this stuff together. They're making sure the light turns on, and that's it. That's as decent of a quality control you're getting on most of that. So if you want to get your RV perfect, which you can't even get perfect, I would say even halfway to your idea of good is still pretty good when it comes to an RV. You really, really, really need to dive into that RV before you buy it. You need to make a list of every single thing you found in that RV, and you need to just go through it and get them to fix every single bit of it before you pick it up. And here's why. Because if you pick it up and you bring it home, one, now you got to bring it back, unless you want to do the work yourself. Two, they're just going to park it in the parking lot with all the other RVs that need to be fixed and everybody else that's complained about how their RVs look. And they're going to just get to it when they get to it. It's not uncommon for your RV to sit in their parking lot for months. And they're not going to extend your warranty for that many months because it was sitting there in the parking lot. I mean, if you pick out enough stuff after you brought it home, you may spend your entire warranty time with that RV sitting in a parking lot waiting for the warranty items to get fixed. All right, well, now would be a wonderful time to like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot of trips in the RV, and we've got all kinds of just miscellaneous videos, how-tos, farm videos. I mean, we just video pretty much everything. So it'd be a great time to subscribe to the channel and keep informed of all the updates we have. So it is a crazy industry. I've never dealt with this in any other industry I've ever even been in. Even buying a new home, I've been able to get stuff fixed with no problem. But RVs, I'm sorry, it is a pain to get anything fixed. So get it done up front before you give them that money, because that's when they care. As soon as that money hits, or as soon as that financing has went through, I'm not saying they don't care about you, but the likelihood of them caring enough to get you out of there and fixed drops dramatically. It's just unbelievable how dramatically it drops. But there's little things like we didn't see. Like if you can see, I don't know if you can see in the camera, there is a yellow tinge on the floor here. And I don't know if somebody spilt something or if maybe that was a bad part of the linoleum that was there. But I can guarantee you, I can complain about this. They'll probably tell me to bring it in. Maybe they'll cut that out and put a new piece in. But that's probably going to be months sitting in a parking lot to get that fixed. So I'm going to point that out, and I'm going to ask them what to do. I may be able to clean that up. Who knows? But I did do a real small wipe job on it. It didn't come up. So, it is what it is. I'm going to have to deal with it since I didn't see it up front. Again, the drawer missing. That's a pretty big deal. Like literally an entire drawer when there's supposed to be 3 and there's only 2. Sadly, that's somewhat common. I mean, our last RV, I went through the same thing. It was my very first brand new RV, so I didn't really understand, hey, this isn't like buying a new car or a home. I mean, these things don't get good quality control. I didn't get it. So on my first one, I went nuts and I got really frustrated with the dealer. Basically, I brought it up there. We had a slide that wasn't going in properly. It was scraping up the floor. Long story short, I ended up selling that RV almost 10 years later with that slide still scraping up the floor because they adjusted it, they messed with it, but after they have the money, they just don't have the, I guess, will to care as much as they did before the money was given to them. So make sure you find all of your problems if you have the time before you buy the RV, because that's when they really care. Now, again, I'm not saying RV dealers don't care, but, just not as much. The cabinets never line up right. You got to go through. I have been going through and trying to line up cabinets throughout this RV all over the place. And when I say they don't line up, I mean, like, you'll see like big gaps in one side and, they won't line up here. And then like this side might be in, and this might just be me, my OCD, but I like things done right. And if you're, talking about a, $130,000 RV, well, you want it done right. So there's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff. One thing I just noticed even today, like they put the screws in and they busted the wood there. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to take the hinges off. I'm going to clamp that and glue it because it's just not worth dealing with them for a warranty issue on that. And again, there's just tons of that throughout the RV everywhere. So, I mean, even here, I can just find multiple things, right? So one thing here, you can kind of see the light coming through where they just didn't seal that good between the frame and the actual, plastic housing of the shower here. So now I've got to come in and fill this because if you don't, water's going to leak out. Well, then we just go a little bit further down here. And even though this RV's been fully prepped and delivered, look, 3.5. Somebody cared to write 3.5 on there. That didn't get cleaned up. Oh, looky there. They cut that board a little too short. So now I got to put some trim there or something to cover that up. But hey, why even do trim when you're just going to slap a piece of wood on there like that? So, I mean, there's just that kind of stuff everywhere. The fit and finish on these units is not great, and you would expect more, but you just don't get it. So if you're used to RVs and you buy a lot of RVs or you've had a lot of RVs, this is nothing to you. This is normal. But if you're new to the RV industry and you're hopping into this and you're buying an RV and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to spend this money, I'm going to get something quality. Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not good, but you just got so much you got to finish off yourself. Here's another one. So there's a screw cover there that's missing. If you notice, there's these little screw covers on all parts of the mirror, right? Well, they're all there, but there's just one missing here. I've looked all over the RV for this, can't find it anywhere. Guess it wasn't a big deal. I could see them overlooking it, but there's just so many issues like this that it's just probably nothing to them. That cover right there is definitely crooked from left to right. Again, this one's the one that doesn't have the switches pushed in. I mean, even look at here, it wasn't cleaned up very well. Somebody had something on their hands, but not a big deal. Send it to the customer. Little thing I'm gonna fix here. Look, you push it in. It's just got like two-sided tape back there. Not real adhesive holding that in. Let's just dab those scratches right there with some, what is that, whiteout maybe? I mean, does trim really need to go all the way on the wood? Maybe it just, it's fine, just separating a little bit. Well, that fit in there nice and close. Oh, well, not here. Whatever. So there's quite a bit of this that I actually did see when we went to go pick it up. And they were going to fix it, at the dealership. And I'm not going to, rag the dealership or anything like that because, I basically had an idea of what was going to happen anyway. We came back after, 3 or 4 hours, and they did some of the stuff on the list, some of the big stuff that I was very adamant about. Some of the smaller things just never got touched. So I checked it out when I was ready to go, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself. That's basically what you got to do. If you want it right, you're going to most likely be doing it yourself. I'm going to fix 99% of them myself without even claiming them as warranty. And that's basically what they expect you to do. If you don't want to do that, well, basically you're giving them your RV for a long time. Same thing here. Look at this cabinet. Like, look at this gap on this. And it's just because they didn't install the hinge right. I mean, they just slapped it in. Now that the door's there, they're done with their job on that. I've got trim that's probably going to be falling off. You're going to need a brad nailer. That's one of the big things. If you want to fix things yourself in an RV, buy yourself a battery powered brad nailer, not a compressor one, because you're going to want to just have this brad nailer sitting in a drawer. And it doesn't have to be a really high end one. It can be just one that handles the smaller brad nails, because they don't use the really long brad nails in most of this. So a cheaper brad nail that actually functions is pretty much all you need. Yeah, so quality control, big problem with RVs. Even, COVID made it worse, but even before then, quality control was just not good. Like I said, our last RV just really had a lot of issues, and, I had to fix pretty much all of them. So, I mean, even look at that. So that is our TV that folds down. And now that's really not off. I mean, this little piece here does move a little bit, but it just looks kind of funny. So I'm going to come in here and really fine tune that and adjust that so it's nice and straight. Little stuff like that you're going to have to deal with. If you have OCD and things have to be perfect, RVs are not something you're going to want to deal with. Maybe more in the motorhome side you might like. There are some motorhome brands that do some really good finish outs, I've heard. But you also have to have a really big wallet. This is basically what I expected out of this RV. A little bit lower quality, but again, I kind of expected that because people were saying after COVID, it's just really went downhill when it comes to quality. And they're not trying to make up that quality. They're really just trying to get as many of these units out the door as they can still. So anyways, that's my soapbox. I'm going to step back down off of that. It is what it is. I think most people have to deal with it. I would love to hear if somebody got their RV perfect, but it's probably more relative. They just didn't care about all the little problems that it has, and I nitpick everything. So that's just the way I am with this. But if you buy an RV from me when I'm going to sell it, you're probably pretty lucky because I have nitpicked that thing and I have fixed every single little thing I can find on it. So you're probably going to get a really sound RV. But we don't plan on selling this for a long time. So, all right. Well, I hope this was helpful. I know it's long-winded. If you would, like and subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out. We're going to be doing as much videos of trips and things that we take. But yeah, thank y'all very much for watching. Y'all take care.